I thank the gentleman from Louisville. When I heard of this of all times passing, my heart was filled and heavy because he was very significant in my life. When you just think of him, and I got to meet him first as a young boy. I was about 10 years old. My dad was a professional boxer. He's one of 49 individuals to get knocked out by Rocky Marciano. But that also brought him into the area where he got to know many boxers and training, etc. He would train in the same gym in New York where Sugar Ray Robinson was and where Boudini and Youngblood, who was always in Ali's corner. So I got to see Ali, this Cassius Clay, train at an early age and fell in love with him immediately. Number one, what you could do when you saw Muhammad Ali, at that time you saw a young man who was confident. And yes, as I hear my colleagues talking about his athletic ability and skills, he had all of that. But what people, and I would like to talk about briefly tonight, what was the highest of esteem for Muhammad Ali was his brain. There is nothing that Ali did that he didn't think about. Everything that he did, there was a reason for it. When he first saw this wrestler and how people hated him, this George guy. And he saw how all the people were coming to watch and paying all of their money because they were talking, he was talking, except he said, here's a good way to promote myself and to make sure that we can make some money. And so he did that. And then he thought about calling and naming the round that he was calling people in and all of that. And so he did all of those things, but there was a reason for it. He was a promoter. He knew what it took. People at that time, many of them wanted to go see the Louisville Lip shut up. But at each time, he would win. What I just want to say about Ali, though, his brain and his heart. His brain and his heart. Because throughout my lifetime, I had several times to be with him and to get to know him a little bit. I'll just, for brevity of time, talk about one real quick. I can recall I used to drive him at times when he was in New York. And so I'd get in the car, and he'd get in the car, and of course he's the funniest guy in the world, and he'd be telling jokes and doing everything else. So we were driving down a street in Brooklyn, New York. I remember it like it was yesterday. I stopped at a light. And all of a sudden, Muhammad's looking around, he jumps out of the car. He jumps. There were some kids on the corner. And he jumps out and he goes and he starts shadow boxing with them. And the kids look up, the champ is here, the champ is here. And he would just talk to them. Then he was encouraging them to go to school, encouraging them to do good things. And I know, because when you listen to all of the stories afterwards, individuals were giving personal stories. Never would you see an individual as popular, as well known as Ali, where individuals could actually talk about a personal story, because Ali wasn't one that was hid behind bodyguards or this one or that one. He was one that always wanted to be the man on the streets involved with people to make a difference in their life. He set an example for individuals. And so I think of the example, too, because they're the size of Ali. You know, I heard someone talking about the Rumble in the Jungle. I used to go up to the camp and watched him train in Deer Lake. And I was there when he was training for George Foreman. I was there, stayed up there for about a week. And in there, again, talk about consciousness, he had these huge rocks talking about all of the African-American fighters before him, because he never forgot who he was or where he came from. But he had these rocks there, and he was in the gym training. And I can remember he would get up on the ropes, and he'd put his hands up, and Angelo Dundee would be, "Get off the ropes, champ! Get off the ropes! Get off those ropes, champ! You're going to get killed on those ropes." And about, the second round training, he did this. He went over and said to Angelo, "Shut up! I know what I'm doing." Nobody knew what he was doing, but he knew what he was doing. He always outthought everyone. He outthought them. That was the key to this thing. The greatest of all time. And so, Ali, I say this, because I remember you saying this one time to someone. If you want some gin, I'll get you in 10. If you like wine, it'll be round number 9. If you think you're great, you'll fall in 8. If you want to go to heaven, it'll be round number 7. But if you want to mix, I'll get you in 6. Talk that jive, you'll fall in 5. If you want to go like old Moore, I'll get you in 4. Mess with me, I'll reduce it to 3. If that won't do, you'll fall in 2. If the crowd wants some fun, you'll fall in 1. Why? Because I float like a butterfly and I sting like a bee. That's why nobody mess with Muhammad Ali. Ali, we love you. We thank you for your contribution, not only to Louisville, not only to the United States of America, not only to African Americans and to Africa, but to every place on this planet. You are indeed God's gift to this great planet. We thank God for your life and times. You will live on forever as the greatest of all time and the prettiest.